Hi, this is Edith, Educational Technologist at Oregon Tech, and in this video I'm going to go over Microsoft Word options that you can set up. So we will open up a Word document and go to File and then Options. And this is where you would set up the different options available for a Word document. You can also do this in Excel and PowerPoint, and we can go over those at in different videos specific to those topics. So your basic first screen is your general screen, and you can do the show mini toolbar, and if you hover over these, if they have a little eye next to them, they will have some more information for you to read through so that you would understand what you might be doing. Enable live preview so you can see how it might change, and then update the content while dragging. So if you use graphics a lot like I do, you might even be able to see it before you permanently put a graphic in to make sure it doesn't mess up with all your Word setup that you have. Screen tips, that's just something that you may feel like you want to have shown or you don't want to show. It's just a personal preference. Actually, everything in here is personal preferences right at this point. Again, name, you can change your username. That's entirely up to you. I don't prefer to change it because I do like having my name there so that I know that I edited it, and I'll show you where that pops up as well. And then you can choose your background. I have calligraphy checked, but there are a lot of different options. It just depends on how you would like to have it set up. You don't have to put anything there. You just, you have your no background, so you can just go browse through them, see which one you might like. I can go look at underwater, and just say okay, and so now I got little fishies and stuff. That's all it does. It's nothing very exciting. Unfortunately, it's not like when you used to be able to really, really customize your desktop, your Word document. Dark gray just changes things to dark. This is, almost like the opposite. So you'll have black background. Actually, we can look at it just so you can see what it looks like. And that's the only difference. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, you can always set it back and say, you want to go back to colorful, dark gray, white. I prefer the colorful, so I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And then you have startup options. So you can ask the program to let you know if you're not using Microsoft Word as a default. You can open all email attachments or other attachments that are not editable. I don't suggest that you do this. It's just easier to open it with a program, and if it didn't come through correctly, you don't want to have any grief with possible virus downloads or something that you just don't want to download. And then the show start screen when this application starts. So if I will open a new Word document just so you can see. So you can actually turn this off. But I prefer to keep it on. This is my preference, not anybody else's. Hopefully it shows up here shortly. So this is the start menu that I was just talking about. So you can turn that off so that you don't have to see this here. I like it because sometimes I might want to go in and do a template, use a template, so I have easy access to it. You can also search for a template up in here. I'm going to keep stressing this is all personal. It's what you're comfortable with, what you might want your program to look like. So let's go back here. We'll go back to options, and then if you do real-time collaboration, you can always save your changes. You can ask me. You can never save the changes. You can also show names on presence flags, so you can see who's editing at the same time as you. And display, as it says, change how content is displayed on the screen when printed. So show white space between pages and print layout. I like that because then at least I know which page I'm on. It just shows the break, which I think is, for as a student, it's easier for me to identify what page I'm on, and as somebody who might read a document, it's easier. But again, that's a personal choice. Show highlighter marks. So if you're going to do highlighting and you're doing collaboration, it might be something that you want to keep on, or if you're in a document and you want to, just like when you highlight a book, you just can show those marks when you print. And then so show document tooltips and hover. So basically hovering over an item will bring up tips on that. And then we have here where you have all the hidden characters that you can choose to turn on or off. I prefer them off because they will get distracting to me, but there are others who may need to have that extra tracking information, so that's where you would find it. And then the printing options, so you can actually tell Word not to print my graphics. So I don't ever see a case for that, but there may be a time that you do. And same with the print backgrounds and all of these other things. You can even print your hidden text that you opened up here. Autocorrect. I know everybody loves autocorrect, but you have all of these things that it will recognize that you've maybe spelled achieve the wrong way. You put your E before your I instead of I before E, and it will fix it automatically for you. You don't have to have this turned on. You can turn it off. You have these, two initial, with the large letters, caps up, that, I inadvertently do it. I'm sure most of you have done it once or twice. So you can actually have it correct that for you, or you can turn it off if it's something that you use two capitals to begin as a word with, then you can turn that off. But I've never known anybody to do that. Caps lock key, that one's a very important one as well, because I do write a lot in caps. So if you do the same as I do, then at least you will be warned that you're in caps lock. And sometimes the Word will actually fix it for you if you just keep typing. But usually it'll prompt you. And so these are just some other things that you can do. Math autocorrect. If you use math symbols, at least you have this here. Auto format. Again, just read through your options here. You could do automatic bulleted lists. I turn that off because I really don't like it to automatically bullet, because I do a lot of bullets, but sometimes I will do different types of bullets, within the same document. So that just is a nice way to turn that off so it doesn't do that automatically for you. Same with the built-in heading styles, which is these up here, and I'll go over those in a different video. Here's the automatic number list. Same thing, I could turn that off. I don't always turn it off just because I do use a lot of the 1, 2, 3. And in those instances, I do definitely want it to continue forward. So all you really have to do is go through each and every one of these things, and it will, it's pretty self-explanatory, what the options are. If you use fractions, this was a big one for me. I do like it to convert, but you don't have to. The hyphens, I do the same thing, and I will show you something about hyphens in another video. So, but there's a lot of options in here you can check on. And then you got your correct spelling errors. You can, again, select or deselect any of these. You can create a custom dictionary. You can edit the word list, which is right here. And I will show you my name should be in here now. So I have two different types because I have uppercase and lowercase. So just in case somehow I mess it up. But it should recognize my name at this point. You can add new ones. If you get a library, you can actually update or add those lists, and you can get those from Microsoft.com. And there's also the grammar and spelling. So again, you can turn those on and off. I really, really am glad that I have the mark grammar errors when you type, because I have a tendency to go into the passive voice, so it'll help me recognize that I'm doing that. But again, that's definitely a personal choice. And you can add exceptions here as well. So saving. This tells you what kind of format you can save it in. So, you probably want to save it in the DOCX just because that's the most current version. But, if somebody needs to have a different version, you can change it here, but that will change it for all time. So my recommendation is when you're saving the file, and we can do this at another point, that you save it as a Word 97 2003 if somebody has a really older version of that. So here you save auto recover information every 4 minutes. You can change that up to as high, I believe, as probably an hour. I have no idea. I would recommend it to keep it between 3 to 5 minutes. Something happens, power outage, you accidentally shut down your machine, whatever, you at least have the last 3 minutes of your work saved before then. And if you don't, you've worked on a 10-page paper and you have this set at 60 minutes and you accidentally shut down your computer, well, it's no longer going to be there. So I would recommend every 3 minutes. You don't even notice it happening. So it's just a personal choice. Again, I know I'm stressing that a lot, but you need to be aware that this is an option you have, and utilize it carefully. And this is just where you can have the auto recover files go. You can change it to another location. I prefer it to just stay in the default because I know where to look for it. So if you're ever looking for it, you can actually come back into the options menu here and find it. And so here's, the backstage when opening or closing. So it'll just show some, what's going on. A lot of these things, everything is set up to the default, so you probably won't have all of these checked. This is one that I've checked because I do not like saving to my OneDrive. I do prefer to save it to my desktop because I do have a lot of documents. So I can actually save to my computer by default. But if I were to uncheck that, then it would go straight to my OneDrive, and we'll look at that in just a second. But you can actually browse here, and you can actually bring it over to your S drive if you want to save everything to your S drive. Or if you do want to do it all to your Microsoft OneDrive, then you can do that as well. But I'll show you what happens if I change this and I hit save or OK. So now when I go in here to file and I do a save, you can see that I have the OneDrive up there. But let's go back, and I'll show you when I tell it to save it to my computer. Say OK. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to file save as. And now you can see it's back to my documents. And like I said, I have a lot of stuff going on here. So that's one of the reasons I don't like going to the OneDrive. And again, the OneDrive is just so that you can access any file you dump in there will be accessible off campus from any computer. And then this is just for SharePoint. You can just leave that alone. Don't change anything. It's already set up for the default, so I would leave it as it is. And save fidelity when sharing this document. So you can embed the fonts into the files. It just helps if you're collaborating on the document. Language, of course, we're English, but you can actually add more languages if you would like. If you do a lot of Spanish writing or French or whatever, you can actually go through here and find different languages that you can add to your list there. And as you can see, this is just defaulted. So I leave it as it is. I've never changed it. I never had the need. If I need to find different characters, I use the character map instead of this. And that's something, if you're interested, just let me know and I can show you how that's done. And your advanced options. So typing, replace the selected text. So, go through, make some decisions about how you want to do this. I use a lot of hyperlinks, so this is a good option for me. You can uncheck it if you don't want it. That's good for like if you're writing a paper, your students are writing a paper, you may be able to tell them about this, especially if they're going to be using a website within their document. At least helps remove the hyperlink and you don't have to click on it. So you have all of these options. Bullets I know are very frustrating for most people. So this is a good place where you want to, if you don't want to keep it with pasting text, as I recommend, just go through each and every one of these, kind of get familiar with what they do. You can turn them on, you can turn them off, you can reset them. There is the option to just reset everything to default. Show document content, so you can show these things as you're working through them. And just more stuff. I would sit here and go through each and every one, but I'm just really pointing out what I feel is important. If you disagree or you have other questions, please definitely get in touch with me and I will go over it with you or create an appended video for this. So if you have the ability to do duplex, there's your options there. I wouldn't change anything if you're not sure. And there's your allow background saves. You can turn that off. I don't recommend that you do because you probably want to have an extra copy just in case. So that's pretty much it for the advanced options. Again, if you're not sure what to do with some of these things, please ask or don't make any changes until you talk to somebody who is familiar with it. This is customize your ribbon. So that's this up here and here. You got a mini bar here and then you have this top bar here. So you can actually drag and drop them over there. It's definitely your choice. I have never ever created a new group or anything. Never had the need. So just so that you're aware that if there's something that you use a lot of, you can also create keyboard shortcuts. So you have all of these different things that you could do in here. I don't really mess with it, but again, there may be some things that you are more familiar or want to do more often and you want a quick, easy place to grab it. You can do it through here. And the quick access toolbar, so that's this little guy right up here. It won't let me show you right now, but we'll get to that afterwards. And so you can actually add things if I want to put, I know I like having print. I don't seem to have that in there, so I can actually put a quick print in there, and that's how you would do it. I want to save, I can add it there. Oh, it's already there, so okay. Maybe I want spelling and grammar there. And maybe I don't want redo anymore. Or maybe I'll put in styles and then I don't want it because I don't want to change what I have in there already. Then you can remove it. That's just a quick, easy way to do that. Add-ins, again, not something that I recommend you play around with, but be aware that they're in here. You can actually add add-ins. If you have questions about add-ins, if something's prompting you for an add-in, please let me know and I will definitely see what's going on and I will help you, let you know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. And then the trust center, that's not anything that you need to be concerned with. It's just for making sure everything is, has its certificates and such. So I wouldn't even go in there if you don't need to and just say okay. Now the other thing is, so we have up here, if you remember, I put up the spelling and grammar, and that's where it is. And if you drop this down, you also have all of these other commands that you could possibly have. So this is your quick menu here, and this is your main menu here. And you may even have at some point it look like this and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't like it like this. I want to always have it in there. So if you are like me, I really do prefer to have the header right there. So you just pin it right here, and that'll leave it up there at all times. So it doesn't matter where I go, I will always have the headers. If you don't want the headers and they're pinned to your screen, then you can just do like that. One other thing that I want to quickly show you, and then I'm going to go into another video on how to do this, but I know that some people are always curious about my ruler up at the top, and again, this will be something I will address as well in another video, but just for your quick reference, you can actually go to I believe it's view, and there's the ruler. So I do like to have the ruler up there because I do a lot of APA style documents or MLA, and so I at least have the ruler up there and I have it set. You can do grid lines if you choose to, and then there's the navigation pane, but I'll get into that some more at another time. And that is basically the options that you have available for you in Microsoft Word. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to get in touch with me, and I will be glad to help you out the best I can. All right, you have a wonderful day, and if you need to contact me, edith.worden@oit.edu, phone number extension 51730. Thanks, and have a great day.